Okay, guys, welcome. And so, for those of you who are watching this recorded training, I am going to just quickly show you how I use all of our creamy products, like our creamy cheek color and our creamy shadow sticks, which I did not get ready. So, hang on just a second. Give me a minute. Okay, sorry about that. Now we're back. So I didn't grab all of them because I'm only going to use one. So I just grabbed two of my favorite and I'll decide when I get to that point. So I am really loving all of our new creamy cheeks that are limited edition. By the way, make sure you send Mary Kay an email, create a case begging them to keep the creamy cheeks because I love them. My customers love them. I've been selling so many of these, and we need more colors. We need them to stay because when we do have limited edition items that come that are seasonal, when they're gone, and they'll bring it back, every maybe every year, every other year, but we need these right now, especially if when you're over 50. Everything that looks creamy keeps us dewy and younger looking. The worst thing for a woman over 50 is to look dehydrated, dry. You want to look luminous, you want to look dewy, and soft, and you look younger when you do that. So I've already had my foundation on. I had it on earlier for church, and then right before I came down to do this video, because this is a buildable foundation, I went ahead and put another layer on just because, so I could have a clean canvas so you could see what I do when I do my concealer. I love this multi-benefit concealer. It's multi-purpose. So yes, it conceals, but it's also a highlighter, and it can be a contour. And so how do I use a concealer as a contour, and a highlighter? So I take the lightest shade, a shade, lighter than my foundation, and that is my contour. Excuse me, my highlighter. And then I go with a deep three for my bronzer, contour, whatever you want to say, and it's creamy. Now, because I am over 50, way over 50, I have tried to stay away from our powder bronzer. Now, I know the young gals can still use it, but honestly, the creamy is in. And so if you've got a customer that's going to ask you, do you guys have a creamy bronzer? You can say, well, we do. We have a multi benefit concealer, and you can use a darker shade as your bronzer. So I'm going to start off with just the concealer right now, and I always put it on the back of my wrist, just like this. Uh-oh. Let me squeeze it a little bit. If your product gets a little watery, just squeeze it and mix it up a little bit. It's just how it separates sometimes. If you use it every day, um, I don't usually have to do that. This is the one that's at my table, my makeup table here down in my studio. All right, so I'm gonna first, I can't see because I don't have my glasses on, so y'all bear with me. I'm gonna go underneath here, okay? And let me get a little bit more out, okay? And I like to go, I call it the palm tree. Remember, this is my highlighter. Gonna help with shadowing. So we as we get older, we get shadowing right in here. And you can see I'm just gonna highlight that crease area, and it kind of takes it away a little bit, okay? I also want to accent my brows, and I did my brows before I came downstairs too. I just touched them up because, like I said, I went to church this morning, and it's 8 o'clock at night, so I touched them up just a little bit. Everything usually stays on pretty good, um, but I just wanted to be fresh for this video. So you can see it's a palm tree, okay? Now, as you go to do your powder, this is going to all blend in a little bit more, okay? And I'm just blending. You can use your fingers, you can use your sponge. We've got a really great sponge this summer product launch. I love it. Okay. All right. And so that's my highlighter. Okay. Now I'm going to do just a tiny bit um, of the deep. Okay. Like a freckle. Probably not even a freckle. You have to be very, very careful. And because I can't see without my glasses, I'm going to put my glasses on just so I can see where I put this. All right. So with my, I'm just going to take the tip of this doe foot. All right. Just a tiny bit. Okay. I want to just a dot. Okay. And I'm going to do a dot here and a dot here. And I have a very thin nose. So when you have a thin nose, if you'll go with your concealer on the opposite side and form the line like this helps your nose to look wider. All right, so remember that. Now, if you have a customer who has a larger nose, a wider nose, and she wants it to be thinner, you do the opposite. So you would take your highlighter down through here, okay, and then you would take your dark shade down in the middle. And so it gives the appearance of a wider nose. Okay, now I'm going to kind of suck in my cheeks just a little bit. Okay, same over here. Like I said, I was very conservative because I can't see. I usually use a like a 3D mirror upstairs that's lighted. All right, and now I'm gonna go just right in here, right in here. Okay, and that is giving me a little bit of color. You can see a little bit of structure. And then now I'm going to do my cheeks. And I love this. Don't be afraid once you put it on because you can see it blends in so nicely. And I'm doing all of this under before the powder. Okay. Now, I do like to go back over it once I put my powder on with another little swipe of my cheek just to make sure that it stays and it doesn't get kind of diluted over the powder. Our powder is a plant-based powder, and you can kind of see, there we are. Now my eyeshadow has stayed on all day. You guys, I did not touch, I did my makeup at 7:30 this morning, and look, my make it is, that's over 12 hours. I mean, I think it looks really good, but I want to demonstrate. You can see how I rubbed it in. I could easily go back over, and I'm just going to tell you these cheeks. I have used these when I play tennis. They stay on, and I am a sweater. They stay on. The foundation stays on. I just love the new foundation, and like I said, these new summer products. Okay. All right. So there's my cheeks. Okay. This color that I'm using is the one that's called uh, Spark Change, and the other is uh, Kind something. I can't remember it. I used both of those. I just kind of change it up. I went with the more pinky color because I knew I did have the pink, and I was going to go with, I believe this is Pink Prism. Let's see if I grab, yep, I grabbed Pink Prism. So what I'm going to do, this is my demo. Um, I do not normally wear a shimmer. So when you're over 45, 50, and you've started to get a little bit of the lines on the lids, only wear your shimmer at night. Nighttime is very forgiving. The great thing about these cheek sticks is that it's a matte. There's not a shimmer in them. And that's another benefit to using a liquid or a creamy bronzer, multi-purpose concealer. It's also a matte. There's not a shimmer to it. So that is not our friend when you're over 45, 50 is shimmer. Shimmer will get in your lines. Now, however, I am demoing this shimmer eyeshadow because it's very popular. I usually, whenever I'm doing a facial for a customer and they want it, we've done a lot of supplements, a lot of skincare, but they do want to leave with a little bit of color. I do what we call a dash out the door look, and that it can be quick because they were there specifically specifically for skincare and supplements or an update with foundation and things like that. And they want to leave with something on. So I do this dash out the door look, which just pretend like I don't have any eyeshadow on. I take a little bit, I demo it just with the little spatula with my fingers. This is, even if you have this at home, you can use it with your fingers. I'm going to wipe off this concealer so it doesn't run down hang on just a second. Okay. And so this is how we demo it at the table. You just kind of go on your lid, dash out the door look. They're so pretty. I think there's like 5 shades, and all the customers love them. And I always sell them, even if they're there at my table, at my studio, just by, look how pretty that is. Just buying skincare and supplements, they take the dash out the door look. And so you want to increase your customers' ticket. That's just going to add more to their to the their reorders of things that they love. And these shadow sticks are regular line, okay? So they're always going to be around. And just the colors are very, very beautiful. And so, like, even though I'm over 50 and I don't normally do creamy, if I was going out at night, like I mentioned earlier, nighttime is very forgiving, okay? And so I could pull off the creamy eyeshadow at night. I would not do this during the day, just because I'm just really hypersensitive to the lines on my lids and things like that. But back in the day, before because I've been in American 25 years, I would have so worn these little creamy eye sticks. I loved them, love them, love them. All right, so now you've got the my bronzer that I use, our multi-benefit concealer. You saw my highlighter. Now I'm going to do a little bit of my powder. And once again, over 50, stay away from this area. Okay. Um, I'm going to keep this as hydrated. This is the thinnest layers of skin on your whole entire body, and it is going to get dehydrated throughout the day if you wear your makeup all day, and you do not want it to start getting, like the lines showing, and you're luckily for our luminous foundation will keep you hydrated for 12 hours. So I'm just going to you'll see how I just kind of scoop around it, stay away from underneath, and kind of dust down. Okay. I love our plant-based loose powder. Um, Comes in several shades, and you can change it with the seasons. And like I said, I um, always go back over my cheeks just to make sure they look dewy. Okay, I want to look dewy. Dewy, that is when you're older and you're normal to dry skin. Dewy is a good thing. And now I know for those of you who are comboed oily, you that's the last thing you want is to look dewy because you already have that shine. But guess what? You don't every we all have our own battles. And so that is there we go. So that's my look, my dash out the door look, really, and a little bit more than that because I did some, concealer, highlighter. Then you do a little bit of your foundation. I've done my brows, and you can kind of see the highlights, how I highlighted my face, um, to kind of uh, bring out, certain features. And so there we are. So I hope you guys enjoy that. So hang on just a second. I'm going to stop the recording.